What's up, guys? It's Average Joe here with another NB Roundtable, and with me I have.
Hello there, everybody. I'm PurpleRodri.
What's up, NinBuzz? This is Linkfangurl.
Today we'll be discussing Zelda Wii U. Well, they showed the demo at E3 for the Zelda Wii U. What'd you think?
I thought the demo was really cool, and I really liked the graphics. I liked how the inventory was going to be used in the Wii U controller. I still don't know how certain items are going to be used, like the bow and stuff. Like, are you going to have to put up the Wii U controller up to the screen and then shoot? Is it going to be like, are you going to be able to use the old Wii controllers to like hit your sword? And if not, what buttons are going to be used to swing your sword? But I think overall, it looked really cool, and I hope that they can bring that to like the next Zelda Wii U game.
Yeah, just as Roger said, I loved how it looked. I was kind of like, that's great, except for how exactly are we gonna be able to control everything? I mean, with with Ocarina of Time 3D, they had you use the gyroscope for aiming, and I'm kind of curious to see if they actually decide to incorporate that into the next Zelda Wii U game. And I am also curious about what you said, Roger, about the Wii remote, about whether or not we're gonna have to incorporate both the Wii remote and the Wii U controller.
Yeah, like if you were to like you know how they said like oh you turn off your TV it can get swapped into the remote. So
Yeah,
what if it gets swapped into the remote? Then how do you aim your bow then? You know? Like will it
yeah, that's
move
another thing.
move to like the little joystick or like
Yeah, that's another thing I'm curious about. Like if you do switch like the entire game to just a controller, how are the controls gonna change? Is it gonna be like I don't know the traditional, you push pause, the menu comes up and you do it like Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker style, or is it gonna go back, or are they still gonna use like a gyroscope sort of thing for aiming or something like that?
I see E3 gameplay for Zelda Wii U, and it looked really cool, but I heard recently that the actual game isn't going to look similar to the demo. What do you guys think?
I liked what they showed at E3. I think the graphics were great. I really liked it. If it had like a Twilight Princess graphic type feeling with a little combination with like the old
Hmm.
school N64 games, which I found like enjoyable. I thought they had like a perfect, like foundation for it established. But if they're gonna go and change it, I don't know exactly what they're gonna change it to. I just hope it's not that drastic of a change, you know?
Yeah, in all honesty, if Nintendo does decide to take this route, then the next Zelda game, not sorry, the next Zelda Wii U game could end up with the same fate as Wind Waker did, which means, from the outside it may look like a really, really, really bad Zelda game, but then you go and play and you're like, oh my gosh, this is one of the greatest games ever. And it could end up being sort of a black sheep. Wind Waker is not exactly a black sheep anymore, but it was back when it first came out. So this next game could end up being a black sheep if Nintendo goes and does something completely different than what we're expecting. And also, like, as it looks really nice and all, but they kind of have to be careful about taking the same graphic route as they did sort of with Twilight Princess, because if you look at Twilight Princess, it's a great game and everything, but it was almost like fan service to the Ocarina of Time fans. It had a bunch of the same elements. The graphics were better, so it was almost like a graphic re-release of Twilight Princess, or not Twilight Princess. What am I saying? Ocarina of Time. And if Nintendo's not careful with this next game, it could end up being kind of like what Twilight Princess was. Another sort of like advanced remake of a previous Zelda game.
For me personally, like I was a huge fan of Wind Waker. I got the game right when it came out and beat the whole thing. I like the cartoony feel almost as much as anything.
Actually, a good thing would be to kind of like what Nintendo did with Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on the GameCube. Maybe have one game that really takes on the lighthearted, cartoony feel, and then you have this one game that's more realistic and more of a darker side. So you kind of get a balance. So
The tough
because
thing is though, if like they're trying to bring these hardcore gamers to the mix, they're gonna have to have the hardcore graphics. They're not gonna be able to go into Wind Waker,
Well,
Phantom
here's
Hourglass.
like the issue though with that is you have to like deal with your current fan base as well. Like in terms of that, like if you're gonna like try to bring people over, you have to keep what's already there satisfied. Like you can't really budge like too much. You have to keep with what was working, don't you think?
So what?
Yeah.
what would they have to make in order to satisfy like both fan bases, like the HD graphics hardcore people they're trying to attract, as well as like the cartoony like younger audience. Like,
Like, put it this way, do you think an HD Wind Waker would work? Like,
Um, now that I
like,
think about it, I don't really know. That's kind of hard. That's kind of hard to picture. I don't know. I don't know how Wind Waker would work.
I don't know how they would be able to make like a cartoony HD game. I mean, Skyward Sword already looks too cartoony, like it couldn't even be taken to HD if it wanted to. So I couldn't see them porting it to that with HD graphics. I think if they're gonna have to put out an HD like dark Zelda game like Twilight Princess was, because that's the only way they're gonna be able to show off the graphics. Like the E3 thing, even though they said it's not gonna be like that, I don't see any other way of them like showing it, you know?
well, how do you see like
Yeah.
HD? How do you see Nintendo like if you're saying cartoons like are gonna have a hard time of shifting to HD and going to the hardcore fan? How could you see that happening for like Mario and every other thing? Like pretty much hardcore fans are gonna have to learn to adapt like to Nintendo. That's how I look at it. Like I think the key to transferring like fans over to Nintendo is more like the
Third
shooter and
party support.
online. I think keeping things like authentic, like Zelda is. I think like keeping things authentic and how it's been for Zelda is almost a must. I don't know what you guys think.
And what do you exactly mean by authentic?
I mean, like changing it to like something that it isn't.
Yeah, that's true. Like changing it into like some huge Final Fantasy RPG, that isn't done. Especially like if there's one thing I don't know about other Zelda fans, but there's one thing that they definitely I do not want to see is voice acting. I like the idea of characters being silent, you imagining, what they would sound like, what kind of accent they would have.
You know, with like
It's
with
For
like
sure, it's been that way for 25 years. They're not just gonna change it
with
now.
the
I
Wii
don't.
U controllers though, like
look at Sunshine. They added voice acting to Sunshine, and
exactly.
people hated Sunshine for that.
Exactly.
Can you imagine giving Link a voice?
Yeah, I can't see
Zelda
Link
would
ever
end.
talking. What if they, because you know the Wii U controller is gonna have like a mic built in and stuff. What if it
Yeah,
eventually got to you responding with words? Wouldn't that just feel a little bit weird? Like you were talking for Link or something?
yeah, that wouldn't. Yeah, that'd be kind of weird, especially for like the girl gamers.
That was basically it for this video, but if you guys have any opinions on what we talked about, feel free to leave a comment below. Also, if you enjoyed listening to Rodri and Linkfangurl, feel free to check their links in the description or click on their annotations on the screen. See ya!